The last time we talked, we were taking a look at some of the exit polls. Have you found any kind of update since then?
The biggest update is that the New York Times is now reporting that there's an 81% chance that Trump will carry the state of Georgia. They don't seem to think that there are enough votes left in the urban areas to pull Harris over the top. I would not wager any money on that at this point,
Sure.
but certainly if you or Donald Trump or his campaign, you have to be happy with that right now.
Absolutely, because of course, 4 years ago, it went a different way. Any kind of trends that you're seeing that could lend to that kind of outcome?
Yeah, the biggest trend so far is that in rural counties of Georgia, Republicans have done very, 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 very well tonight. Democrats have done somewhat better in urban counties, but the rural counties have noticeably more Republican margin than compared to 2020. Of course, the problem for the Republicans is that those are numerically much smaller counties than the urban areas.
You need a lot more of those smaller counties to add up the votes. But when you do look at that map, and we've been looking at it all night long, you see so much red, but sometimes that can be deceiving because it's all about the population in those counties.
And I would add in that here in this viewing area, Baldwin County appears to be certainly leaning toward Trump, and that was a county that Joe Biden carried in 2020, but by an almost identical margin so far at least, Trump seems to be carrying Baldwin County at this point.
So what do you think they did in these rural counties different from the last time around?
I think one of the big things for the Trump campaign is that they embraced early voting in a way that they did not do in 2020. They embraced early voting in 2024, not only in Georgia, but across the nation.
We already have a few finals in for, the State House, a good night for the incumbents. They usually do well. What does that mean? Let's first look at the U.S. House. What does that mean? Sanford, Bishop, we don't have a final there yet, but for Austin Scott, what does that mean for the U.S. House going forward?
Well, for Republicans who are trying to hold on to the U.S. House, they need to hold on to every seat that they currently have. And obviously they would like to pick up a few more, but the margin is so thin in the House that the Democrats were certainly hoping coming into tonight, not so much in Georgia, but that they would pick up House seats elsewhere, and they may still do it, but at least in Georgia, the incumbents are doing quite well, either Democratic or Republican.
Looking to our State House, and then that newly created seat, District 143, Anissa Jones appears that she is, the winner in that race, replacing, a very, very popular, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting his name. James Beverly, thank you so much, my producer, brain star. And he was very popular and got a lot done. Now that she is going to be, inheriting that seat, what are her challenges going forward, do you see?
I think it's like with any newcomer, they're learning the ways of politics and learning the ways of being a good legislator, and that's something that all freshman legislators go through, learning the job, learning how to do the constituent service, all the retail politics that go along with a state legislative seat.
Are there any of the, we were talking about young voters the last time we spoke, are there any groups of people here in Georgia that you think are swinging this election one way or another?
I think overall at this point, rural voters have turned out in very large numbers to perhaps, seems like this on the way to that, of counteracting the Democrats' ground game in urban Georgia. Still have lots of votes in the Atlanta area especially to count, but apparently the trend is favorable toward Trump, at least at this point.
Is it kind of throwing kind of a monkey wrench with the goal was to have all of the absentee and the early votes counted, I think, by now, but there was just so many of them, but 1.2 million votes today opposed to 4 million early votes. What kind of dynamic does that give us when we're looking for these vote totals?
Well, the thing with the early voting, and we're in uncharted territory. I mean, compared to 2020, in 24 saw a record number of early votes, and the dynamic that's there is that once you cast the ballot, you don't really know how to predict the races as well because there are fewer people left to sway.
Sure.
And I think that's partially what we're seeing going on tonight, not only in Georgia, but across the nation.
And when these polling locations, are they going to become obsolete since, we have so many folks who early vote and you can't really pinpoint like a neighborhood or a section of the city that typically leans, right or left?
I think overall early voting has been a hit with Georgia voters, and I suspect we'll see that's a trend that's going to continue just because it's more convenient. You don't have to worry about waiting in line so long on election day itself. I think it's a trend that's going to be with us.
All right. Thank you so much. Great perspective. We really appreciate you.
Glad to do it.